gamers, and welcome to the Valheim finale, because good God, man. Oh, this game is huge. Holy cow, this game is huge. We didn't know what we were undertaking, man. We didn't know we were stepping into, like, the Iron Man gauntlet. That wasn't the plan. Like, you give yourselves a week for a co-op game, which is a lot of time. You know, that's like 8 hours a day we did on average, I think. Something like that. And to then realize you're like, I don't know, I think we're like 10% of the way through this game at this point. Which is fine. It was our final day, and I can announce now, me and Jordan have talked over the weekend, is like, we're absolutely coming back to this. We're totally fine with it. We've got a little break, because I've got some stuff to do. I have to go to the US this weekend, so look forward to a little vlog of that. I can't tell you why. I don't think. It's really weird. I cannot express to you how rushed this whole process is. What I can tell you is the message arrived, can you get to America next weekend? I need an answer in the next hour. Like, my Discord was like going mad because Nupss was sorting it out for me. Nupss is our manager of these things. And he's like, Mike, you need to check Discord like right now. And I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. And then they extended it. It's like, okay, tomorrow morning at the latest. Because I was like, I need to discuss what this damn thing is. And they're like, we can't really tell you, but we would really like you to be there. And I'm like, are you paying us? And they're like, no. So you want me to take... I know this is off the cuff on Valheim, but I just think it's interesting anyway how these things work sometimes. Is like, so you can't pay us? Like, no. So you want me to take time off the stream, which is bad, obviously, for me and the team. Like, we want to be streaming and being consistent, but it's definitely, in your words, worth me being there. And they're like, yes, 100%. And I'm like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important do you think it is that I go? And they're like, 10. I'm like, all right. Okay. Sure. We'll do it then. We'll do it. So there'll be no stream Monday, Tuesday next week. All right, it's currently Monday. It's the 5th today, so do your dates accordingly. Anyway, let's get back to Valheim. So we knew we weren't going to finish, and we knew we were coming to the end, but that didn't... We kind of also knew we were coming back to it, which meant our plan didn't change. Our plan was to secure the swamp. That's it. Secure the swamp. Make the swamp our absolute bro and gain as much information about the swamp as possible. Because right now, we don't know where the next boss is, which the way the game works is once you defeat a boss, it unlocks like the next tier of stuff, right? Because it's like, okay, you've achieved this goal, this checkpoint, definitely, because you killed the boss. Now you need to move over to these kinds of different areas. I assume the next area is going to be the plains, because that seems pretty obvious. We're running into the plains in various areas already, and the likelihood is you have bumped into something. Like, we bumped into the Black Forest, we bumped into the swamp while going to do Black Forest stuff. So it totally makes sense that would be the case. So, whatever. That's fine. There's no problem. We know where the plains are. We've got access to those. So all we knew is that we have these swamp keys. That's what the last Elder boss dropped for us, was swamp keys. And these keys open dungeons in the swamp, of which we have been working so hard to get through just one of these things. And we've been revisited it twice and still not cleared it. So we started the day with many objectives. We do have some iron. Now, the plan is to get a bunch of iron. Let's get a bunch of iron. What are we going to do with it? Because we have some already. What is the strat? So, we started formulating, which is the joy of this game. And the amount of people who've played, a few hundred hours of this game were all expressing kind of the same feeling that I had. This game doesn't have a lot in it. Doesn't. It's got some basic dungeons, and it's about the journey to get to those things. That's where the time comes, and that's where your investment comes. Because once you're in a Darkest Dungeon vibe, you have collected a full set of, like, bronze gear, or you've upgraded your bow to, like, level 3. You've got these really good items. Dying and dropping it all on the floor is a real, like, sunk cost fallacy. And I can totally see a hell of a lot of people who play Valheim making, like, 3 or 4 sets of their gear before they went out to do a mission, so that they could, having practiced dying a lot, cut their losses. Because when this game snowballs you, it snowballs you so hard. Like, the moment it tips over the edge, it goes absolutely bonkers and ruins you completely. Absolutely destroys you. And so that was our mission. So we started to prioritize things. First of all, I was like, okay, we have some money now. Let's go to Scufftropolis, or New Scufftropolis. Let's convert that to a foundry, essentially. We want forges, we want things like that set up there. It's protected already. Let's get that set up. So let's, like, Jordan, do that. Then I'm going to take the ship and I'm going to sail to the merchant and I'm going to bring portals with me because no doubt we'll need to go back to that area. And we have a lot of cubes now. We, in fact, did a dungeon this day because we were next to it. It's like, let's just check out this dungeon real quick because we can farm them easily. And it had like 13 cubes in it. And it takes 4 per pair of portals. So, like, let's... that was a glorious find. So I was like, I'll take a portal with me. And we'll set up so we can easily get to the merchant again. And I want to get the heavyweight belt to increase my carry capacity because we're going to be getting iron. And then for Jordan's side, it's like get the foundry going and then maybe make the iron pickaxe because one thing that was a limiting factor in the swamp dungeons is that the pickaxes that we had from the first boss, the deer, would break very easily. Let's change that. And then we had a little iron left. So I was like, I'm going to make the iron axe. Because not only is the axe great for chopping trees, but also it's fantastic DPS as well. And that's a 2-for-1. And the axe that I've been using, the bronze axe, it like breaks very, very easily, especially when you want to farm things. One thing I did find out is that I could plant all the trees and they pop up really quickly. I was amazed, actually. By the time we did a little bit of stuff in the swamp, I came back and an entire forest had appeared next to our main base. That was phenomenal. That was so good. It's like, oh, I can really just make it so we can chain thousands of wood if we want to. I still wish we had things like chainsaws or some sort of efficient tool that would automate that. Some automation in here would be great, but it doesn't quite fit the feel and gesture of what they're going for. Not that it doesn't exist later, but for now, it doesn't really work. So either way, we're getting things done, right? We're getting things done. So I dropped Jordan off. She got to work, and then because she can transfer backwards and forwards, bring materials, I took Sail off to get the heavyweight belt. I picked that up. I was looking at some other things, so I bought some odd 1s and 2s to see if they gave us like weird new recipes. Nothing happened with them, which I was like, okay, a little weird. And then got back in the boat to sail back. I built a portal, but I don't want to leave our boat on that side, so I then sailed back. And we're then kind of ready to head to the swamp. Oh my god. I hate the swamp so much. So much. I've got a vibe from my live audience that there is something that you can get that makes the swamp significantly easier. But we don't know what it is, and we're doing blind, so... It is what it is. So off we went into the swamp, and... First of all, we got attacked by abominations and stuff, which we've killed a couple of times now, and actually ended up fighting one. I realized I could parry some stuff. They're still extremely deadly, and I feel as though they have so much HP, and they attack other enemies of the swamp, that they're really more guardians of the swamp, rather than something to be farmed. There might be a good set of armor that comes from them, so you want to go and kill them at some point, but for now, it was like, okay, the abominations aren't really a thing. But so, let's just focus on what we're going to do. So we went to the dungeon, and we started working our way through the dungeon. And actually, we were really close to clearing it the last time, so we only got a little bit of iron. So, like, let's try the other dungeon. This is when I realized... I haven't brought the keys because we've been doing so much stuff in between going to the swamp. I've got no keys, Jordan. And she's like, God damn it. So we had to go back again. Thankfully, we got portal servers, so it was very easy to sort out as we fought back. And then going back to the other dungeon, we're right next to a spawner, and we were very curious about the red fire because we cleared a dungeon now and didn't get a clue to what the next checkpoint boss is. And that's not crazy weird because it took a few dungeons with the previous Black Forest dungeons to get the rune that says where the next boss is. So I'm like, okay, it's probably something similar, maybe, or we were trying to think through this. Like, either, obviously, whatever we're looking for is in the swamp, but doesn't necessarily follow the same pattern that it'll be in the dungeon. Although we got the swamp dungeon key, that's still just pointing us to being in the swamp. And we haven't fully explored a swamp yet, so it's like maybe it's the case if there's something else in the swamp and there's a weird red fire going on. So we cleared another dungeon, got tons of iron, which was great, so we could craft a bunch of stuff. And then we're like, let's investigate more. And the red fire had these weird spirits around it that dropped a new cube. I don't know what that is, because no new recipe popped up, but it seems like they're like a never-ending source of cubes. In which case, we could pop back here, pick up a couple of cubes, go back and just keep a supply of those. Then we got attacked by another spawner, and then proceeded to, again, because they're really hard, die over and over and over and over again, just like relentlessly dying over and over again, which was infuriating because you know how to deal with them, but the problem you run into is that for whatever... I knew what to do. I was like, right, we're going in, we're going to kill the piles as quickly as possible to stop the spawners, and we killed a few of them. And I think there was 2 bone piles left, and they only spawn archers. Only archers. And when they desync, you can parry arrows, you can line of sight them, you can do all that, but once there's like 4 or 5 of them, especially if you died a couple of times, and they're only archers, they desync. So you end up with like, I can parry and block 1 or 2, but there's like 3 more arrows coming at me because I'm exposed now because you're committed to your attack instead of line of sighting them. And it makes it extraordinarily hard to battle them in an effective way. And we were just dying and dying and dying and dying and dying and dying. And we were both like, I hate swamp. I hate the swamp. I want grenades. I want something to just burn these goddamn things to the ground. I want to burn them. And that's when we didn't realize, because we had said it was going to be our final day for a while, our live audience activated crowd control. If you don't know what crowd control is, this is the ability of a live chat in a stream to actually manipulate things that are happening in the game. Oh dear. Just didn't go well. Didn't go well. I do know it caused some frustration with some of our audiences, like, this is just really mean. We didn't mind. I want to be honest with you. We didn't mind. We'd actually been asked earlier in the week, is like, if we do this towards the end, are you okay with it? And we were like, yeah, we're fine with it. Like, it's okay. Like, there's nothing in Valheim that can't be fixed. So I was like, it's totally fine. But we had just trolls, crystal monsters, giant attacking boars, everything. Now, it was all fun and games. They were destroying some of our base, and we were playing along while we were defending because we were having fun. It was fun. And trying to get back, and then things started spawning in our main base. I was like, oh my god, all the boars are going to escape, they're going to die. All this was happening, going backwards and forwards to deal, so we weren't dealing with that. And at one point I was like, you've got to despawn these, otherwise they're going to kill all the like creatures that we've been preparing, all the boars especially. They're named after members of the audience. Like, they're going to kill us. So they despawned them, and then they were like, right, we're turning it off. But it had lingering problems, and here's where it got wrong. We went back to Nupss and we were like, right, like, we've got to ship all our iron, because you can't take it through portals, back to our foundry in order to actually process this material. So, like, we're just getting the boat up. As that happened, crowd control had been disabled, but the things that were in the game were still in the game, certainly in that area, and midway through the ocean, I was killed. In fact, crowd control was still on at this point, because one of the commands they could do was literally just to damage me, and they killed me in the middle of the ocean. Horrible. Just horrible. Because getting that back took us half an hour. Because Jordan had to fight everything on her own. There was monsters everywhere. Just absolutely... all I could do was kite. I couldn't craft anything to get things that were going on. I have no armor. I've got nothing. I'm trying to do laps with things in circles. Jordan's like steadily, and then she ran out of arrows, so she had to like start crafting arrows on the fly. All this crap was going on for like half an hour, and it was just for this one death. And so try and get everything back. Oh my god. What a nightmare. And I can't tell you the joy. And this is kind of not even because of crowd control. It's actually just a Valheim moment. When you've been through those moments, like this entire journey we'd had in the swamp that day, and you return home with the spoils, like when we docked and got in, that relief and that happiness was so overwhelming. It was so overwhelming. Like, we made it. We're home. Planting our feet on recognizable, safe ground. Like, you just want, like, Katy Perry the floor, right? You're like, mwah, mwah, mwah. I've been reamed out by so many things. I have everything I need. We've got all the iron. I was just, like, putting it in the base. Thank God. And we stop here because we have all these resources that we could build so much stuff with, which is when we'll return. Overall, I think my comment remains the same for Valheim, and obviously we're not finished yet. I don't know where it goes, but it's a game that you could just have running with your friends and just play for a year or 2 years. You could do anything you want with this. You could be the guy who like charges through everything and not speedruns it, but like knows what to do a little bit and is familiar with it and gets through it. You could also be the guy who's like, right, I'm making a base here. I'm making a base here. This needs its own portal, its own access point. I'm going to build a beautiful portal room. I'm going to label them all. I've got all my chests labeled. You know, you can go into that like almost Subnautica, Minecraft level of stuff and just have the best time doing it without achieving really anything. You achieve nothing. But everything is like nice and safe and solid, and there's a strategy, there's a plan. I could build a tunnel, I could build a bridge across these waterways. I could totally reform the land in my own image to see where to go. But as for us, we still don't know where to go next. Like, we cleared a couple of dungeons and we still don't know. But we also have quests that we found with the Tailor guys, so we don't know what they do either. We have choices and options of what we want to do, which is why we're both excited to get back to it. But we will be taking a little break. RoboCop will be continuing on Monday, which I'm so excited for because that game is so up our street. It's just silly, crazy wackiness, and I want to jump into that. And because I've got trips coming up, I don't want disruptive Valheim stuff. I think when we're in, and we're invested. So we will be back, ladies and gentlemen. But if you're looking for that game where you can just enjoy yourself, even solo, for a very long time, Valheim is probably it. So we'll be back later.